Hola mi gente, ¿cómo están? Hopefully muy bien. Si no, we're going to get you back to bien. Today we're going to be sharing the story of a powerful Latino from where he started to where he is now in life.
So my full name is Raul Aguilar. I'm a junior. I go by Tony. So Tony Aguilar to the community here. I live in Antioch with my fiance and my son. My father is Raul Aguilar. He migrated from El Salvador when he was about 11, 12 years old. And he came in when the family first moved. They came to Oakland, and that's where he was throughout his teens until he met my mom. And my mom is Maria Aguilar. Her parents are from Mexico. She was born in Oakland, and my grandma was pregnant when before having my mom, and that's when they did the migration to Oakland. So I have an older sister my father had prior to getting together with my mom. Her name is Tatiana Aguilar. And then I have two younger siblings, Yaneli Aguilar, she is 22, and then my younger brother, who is 12 years old. It was family. It was family. I love everything my parents ever did for us, for me and my siblings. They're always involved, always hardworking. When at a young age, we moved over here to East County and to the Antioch area, and they commuted. So I was always with grandma and grandpa. My parents would do the 2-hour commute. But for me, when they were home, it was all us. The attention was on us and my siblings, or my sibling at the time, because my younger brother, I was in 8th grade when he was born. But growing up before there, it was just me and my sister, Yaneli, and just being in sports and my parents and family and grandma's on Sundays. So that was kind of my childhood, and I had a good time. I think for me, the most challenging time in my life was making the transition from Oakland to Antioch. I was 8 years old. It was a summer of 2nd grade, and coming to 3rd grade, first day of 3rd grade, coming into my elementary school. In Oakland, everybody in my class was Spanish. My teacher spoke Spanish, and I was able to kind of speak that Spanglish. But at the end of the day, I wasn't committed to just the English. But when I moved to Antioch, I remember it was Miss Sullivan's class to this day, because it was, for me, it was a traumatic in a bit. We get to school on the first day, and my mom asked, like, hey, is there somebody who speaks Spanish here, in case my son has a question. And growing up, I was born in Hayward, but, we're little. We're always at grandma and grandpa's house. Spanish was my first language. Read it, I speak it. To this day, I tell people that I don't write Spanish or English, so I got messed up there. So I know how to read and speak both languages. But there was no teacher, no administrator. There was one teacher, actually. It was Miss Ramirez. She was a kindergarten teacher at the opposite side of the school. And if I had a question, I don't recall the questions I would go ask her, but sometimes it was like maybe the littlest thing, and I would walk across and I wait outside, and maybe I wait 10, 15 minutes to ask her a question. And then she would call my teacher like, oh yeah, Tony this is all he wanted. And I think that was the most hardest part in my childhood, getting that transition and not being able to just speak my native language of the Spanish while in school. But my friends were good. They helped me translate. They helped me out. It's not that I didn't know English, but my Spanglish was really broken up. Fast forward a little bit to 7th grade. It was my English teacher, Miss Lynn at the time. I'm not sure if she's married now. And it's funny that you asked that, because I was reaching out to somebody in the district, and I wanted to go back into the yearbooks and see Miss Lynn and see if somehow today I can get her phone number or email, or I can get a hold of her. I feel like I would love to take her to dinner and sit down and really let her know that she changed my life. We had a project, and it was like, what do you want to do when you grow up? But for me, it was a law enforcement. I wanted to be a cop, get into criminal justice. But with her, when I mentioned that, and I would sit down and I talked to her about that project, she was the one that opened my eyes and said, you can become anything you want to be. And being able that I had that support at home from my parents, and the sky's the limit. But I remember Miss Lynn to this day. If you're watching this video, if this comes across to you, 7th grade here in Antioch, I feel like that was open my eyes, and this world is endless. When I graduated throughout high school, I did here in Antioch. We went to a Law and Justice Academy here at my local high school, and I always wanted to be in law enforcement. And I started working at a young age. And when I was my first year junior year, I started working at a restaurant, and I started working at a very, very young age. And I would commute from Antioch to Orinda, and first started driving. And I got some stories to go behind that of like some things that I laugh at now. But was at the restaurant for about 2 years, and then I graduated high school, and then I went to DVC, the Double Ed College here in town in Pleasant Hill, and I remember it was winter break, busiest time at the restaurant, but I wanted something new. I wanted something better. I wanted to be able to prepare for my future, and I applied and I got hired in banking in 2015, February 2015. I started my finance career in banking, and that's kind of what's projected me and all my management that I had throughout those years. I stay in touch. I still wish them happy Thanksgiving to my first manager, because they allowed me and expanded as an 18-year-old. They really let me know I got to work hard and got to be consistent in what I do, and I got to have a passion for what I serve and who I provide to. And I got in finance. So I was 18 years old. I got into banking, and it's taken me to where I'm at today. Toughest time, I would say there's been dark days when it comes down to being in just the finance. In school, it wasn't taught to us, but it's something I always wanted to be able to overcome, both the support of my family and my in-laws, and get support to Julia. And there was times where things were tough, but I always worked two jobs when I was in banking, and then I would drive at night for Uber, and I would work till 3, 4 in the morning, and it was tough. And I think it was tough in my end, but not in other people's eyes besides me and Julia, where I always worked with individuals 10, 15, 20 years older than me in the same positions as I am today. But I sometimes would compare myself, and to this day, something that I figured out through those tough times is to never compare. Like, your time will come. And financially, I was trying to compare myself to somebody in my position, but they were in that position maybe 5, 10 years before me, and they were at and the things that we're producing and providing for their families, I thought that I was able to do the same. So sometimes it was maybe a lifestyle that I was trying to live, and I wasn't quite there yet. And it's something that I take pride in today, that my time will come, and in the position that I'm at and the age of my peers where I'm currently at, is I'm going to get there, and time is all I got. It's never promised, but I'm gonna make sure I utilize it. I value my family. I value the family I'm creating. The value of my fiance and buying our first home when we were, was it 24 years old? 24 years old. My son, and just health. I'm thankful. I have both of my parents. My Julia, she has both of her parents. My son, his great grandparents, and all his grandparents. And I think that's one of the things that I value, because I've lost some close people in my family, and I feel that tomorrow is never promised. So you got to make sure you tell your people you love them. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I value, is my family, and me being okay and healthy to be able to just talk to them. So something that hits home. Somebody coming into the US and getting started can be challenging. Sometimes we feel, and sometimes it's within our own communities, and this goes with all nationalities, but I'm going to reference the Latino community where I come from. Sometimes we hold a lot of things inside, and we make sure we act like everything is okay. But being able to reach out, there's a lot of resources, there's a lot of help. There's people in towns in our communities that can help you if it's you need to speak English, or being able to just learn it. But it's not even that. There's so many employment opportunities. There's opportunities to become small business owners, and those are some of the things that I've came across, where sometimes I met somebody that coming from a different country, and they ran big corporations. They ran corporations in their home country, and they come here and they feel that they have to do the minimum wage job. And sometimes they question themselves. But in anything in life, is anything is possible. You just got to go after it. But at the time, being able to expand your wings, like reach out to people, because it's really of who you know and who you connect with. And yes, there's individuals that will be shy, and sometimes it's just let somebody know, and that person might connect you with somebody that might open the doors to your future. But never give up. There's gonna be tough days, and something I tell the kids while I coach: today's tough, but tomorrow's a better day. If you're going through, I don't tell the kids this, but I tell people, hey, if you're going through hell, don't stop, go. Let's see what's at the end of the tunnel. So just keep on pushing. The advice I give to the young Latinos is to not compare themselves to others. The opportunity is there. Being able to find your inner, find what you want, find your passion. In today's day and age, there's so much opportunity, and nothing is gonna come overnight. It has to put in the work. You have to. I don't like to say or gratify, like, enjoy the struggle, but the struggle is going to come. Those dark days are going to come, and you just got to keep on pushing. So any young Latino that are going through tough times, and find what you love. If it's art, if it's music, or if it's industry, or a certain trade, or anything, and you're always going to. Life is not a single path. There's going to be three different options, and you're either going to go left, you can go straight, or you're going to go right. But make sure whichever path you take, you do it with confidence. Do it with confidence. Keep your head up high, and whatever you choose to do, be the best at it. Improve. It's always going to be you versus you. And you versus you is the thing that's going to slow you down most in life, but you have to take the risk. You have to take the risk, and sometimes that risk, that reward won't come tomorrow. It won't come in 3 months, but it's going to come to you, and you just got to keep going. So any young Latino, keep on pushing. Brentwood and La Gran Fiesta. I started my business and building my own book, building my own, building Tony, and I got involved within the chamber back in 2020 and 2021, 2022. I was an ambassador, became a director, and I remember it was our December mixer, and a board full of directors, and they're like, hey, Tony, that gave me the opportunity to become a director. And I was like, I want to create something for the Latino community. The Latino community in Brentwood, but East County, my surrounding cities of Oakley, Antioch, Discovery Bay, and all small, Knightson, I want their voices to be heard. So La Gran Fiesta happens in September. For 2023, it's going to be Saturday, September 9th. Here in downtown Brentwood, we're going to have vendors, we're going to have performers, we're going to have car show, we're going to have the lowriders out there, and it's a big kids area for the kids. But one thing that I take a big pride with La Gran Fiesta is with the support that I've gotten from different organizations, from different individuals. The biggest support, and one of the things that I love, is some people might not know you and didn't know why you existed, but when I show them and I paint them the picture of what I wanted, and one of those organizations was ODAT, One Day at a Time. And I take big pride because without knowing who Tony was, being able to hear of what I wanted to create, being that I lived in Antioch, we would go to Oakland. We would go to San Jose. San Jose was big for us. We would go to the flea market, and that was our Hispanic culture. Or if it was anything, not even people, a lot of people think, Cinco de Mayo. No, it wasn't the Cinco de Mayo. It was the Posadas. It was the Dia de los Muertos. It was any event where we wanted to feel like we belong. And growing up here in Antioch with my family, so we always traveled. So I was like, why can't I bring something close to our locals? We're talking about 200,000 people here nearby, and 30% approximately maybe are Latinos. So you're talking about 75,000 people, Latinos, in their backyard. I'm going to bring them something other cultura. And it's not Mexican. My mother's Mexican, my father's from El Salvador, but it's for my Puerto Ricans, for my Peruvians, for my people in Chile, Brazil. It's for everybody. And I want to be able to get those people to come out here and show me what your culture is. There's so many ideas that are going to go from La Gran Fiesta, and it is something that I want to be able to showcase to our backyard, but to the Bay Area, to everybody as a whole. Happiest time with my fiance, I really telling my parents that she was pregnant. We were 18 years old. It was March of my 18th. At age 18, I turned 19 that April, and it was funny because I remember telling my parents, and I don't know where we went. I think me and Julia, my fiance, we ended up going to go get ice cream or did something. Went to Walmart around the corner. By the time we came back, like all my cousins, all my aunts. It was like a carne asada. It was like, I remember it was like there was a party in a matter of like 20, 30 minutes. That is one of the best times that I had in my adult life. But something that topped that more was when my son RJ, he was maybe about a year, 2 years old. This may be the third or fourth time he's been to Disneyland, but this time he's running. He's running. He's able to point at things and his facial expressions. And I remember going to one of the areas of the park where they had the Dumbo and the Dumbo's flying in the air, and that smile that my son had, like that's like you can never replicate it, and it's worth $1 million. Like this is the best moment in my adulthood of seeing my son so happy, without not without speaking at his age. At he was just a little bit over a year old, but the expression and the enthusiasm he had, I think that would be the best moment I had in my adult life.